derived from the leaves of the coca plant. When cocaine enters the body, it has a strong effect on body functions by acting as an irritant on the brain. Large overdose of cocaine causes convulsions, then death. Cocaine causes unusual and often unpredictable feelings and actions. In his ignorance, Marty took that dare, little knowing the eventual horror that lay in the deadly white powder.
Marty, have you seen the painting shears I bought last week? Can't seem to find them anywhere. Marty, you don't seem right. I'm worried about you. There's something wrong. I'm going to take you down to Dr. Beaker this afternoon for a checkup.
No, I'm all right.
As his body gradually built up intolerance, he needed more and more of the drug. Cocaine causes unusual and often unpredictable feelings.
Okay, this should be interesting. Impromptu surprise secret show. Ooh, we got 5 listeners. It must be the right time of day. Okay, let's get the music turned off. Hello. This is Bridge Sky. This is K.I.S.S Recovery 101. Special monthly edition. We are slipping it in. That's what he said. You knew. I just saw your look. Risky relationships. Now we like to do these monthly, and we hadn't gotten one in, I believe, for this month. But either way, tomorrow's the next month, so let's just get it done. And
Yes.
had a crazy weekend. Go First State.
Yes.
So by Sunday night, I was exhausted. I couldn't bring myself to think, mentally strain myself to read and write a post. So I'm so thankful, Sarah, that you were able to agree to this. And yeah, so listeners, live show, I do it live because I want interactions. And these risky relationship episodes, I think, are crucial because normally I used to think of relationships as boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. And in reality, that doesn't even apply to me. That hasn't applied to me for a couple of years now. Relationships for me are crucial, and that's those friendships. That's family, that's friends, that's my children, that's parents, all kinds of relationships that you don't think about. And this month, Sarah, was your topic. And so I really had fun with this. But I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself. And we are not doing this in studio, so pardon the background noise. Dan, do your job. Supposed to be keeping the dog quiet. Okay, introduce yourself and then let the listeners know. Introduce yourself and maybe just tell the topic. I'm going to read the post after that.
All right. Yes. So Sarah here. Thanks for having me on again. Definitely. Yes. Apologies for Barky McBarkface back there.
We got a meme for her.
We actually do, which that works out even better now. So no, my risky relationship idea was to do the
Extended family.
Yes, extended families. And
what do you mean by that?
Yeah, funny because when I sent that to you, I was recently just thinking I've got this thing coming up for a graduation with a niece, and I've got some other graduation invites for cousins, kids, and second cousins and third cousins, and all the, it just kind of keeps going. And it's a kind of, where do you draw your boundaries, and what do you need to find? Like, what do you have to find um to be, I don't know, what's the right word here, Bridge? You got to help me out. To like accountable to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you exit, go see what's going on with your boyfriend and the dog over there, and I'm going to read the post so I can concentrate. This is why I like a studio. It's quieter. It helps my squirrel mind focus. So, okay, again, forgive the impromptu. We're just kind of winging it, but we'll definitely have some pro tips, because extended family doesn't mean necessarily in-laws. It could be, new boyfriends siblings have taken on. It could be co-parenting and their families, family situation. So yeah, if you didn't get a chance, the post tonight says risky relationships, extended family. Trying to fit in is one of the hardest challenges in all relationships, especially as a person in recovery. When it comes to dealing with extended family or in-laws that don't understand substance use disorder, there are many dynamics that stamp judgment and negative stigmas across your forehead, laying out the ways that toxic friends or family shames you, allows you to bring awareness for changing unhealthy family systems, defining boundaries, and building a fence, not a wall, a fence, a protection for yourself. And I 100% needed to do that. I found a phenomenal YouTube video, actually a whole channel. I'm going to plug this guy up. He is a therapist, and I like what he talks about, because he talks about, childhood trauma. He actually, there's moments of substance use disorder, but really his whole channel is more about trauma, inner child. And what I love, I'm going to play two of his clips tonight. What we're going to
So just kind of funny and odd, and I just wanted to share it live since I was such a space cadet there earlier.
Okay, we had some technical problems. I don't know how long we were just muted there.
Oh no.
So why don't you go ahead and read this post again?
Okay.
And let's get on it. Let's just focus.
All right, K.I.S.S Recovery 101, risky relationships on extended families. Trying to fit in is one of the hardest challenges in all relationships, especially as a person in recovery. When it comes to dealing with extended family or in-laws that don't understand substance use disorder, there are many dynamics that stamp judgment and negative stigma across your forehead. Laying out the ways the toxic friends or family shames you brings awareness for changing unhealthy family systems, defining boundaries, and building a fence of protection for yourself.
And I love the word fence, because walls were my jam. I liked walls. But you know what? Walls block people out, and they locked me in a prison within myself. So,
well, yeah, they block out the light. They block out the light where the fence at least still get some of that and it up maybe for something nice.
You could have welcoming fence. Saying unmute. Okay, so this is not going to work with the moving the mic around. So we're just going to have to get over here and Just keep the mic in one spot, okay?
Yep.
Okay. So, talking about that, I did have some impromptu, but let's just jump right into a clip.
Okay, so
Okay.
are we good for the muting and non-muting?
For now.
Okay.
Oh, and listeners, yes, please interact. Oh, Facebook user said, "Did you switch days?" No, it will still be Sundays, but
Today's just a surprise.
today was a surprise because I missed the Sundays. So go for state. This is Brian riled me up, but I didn't. This would have been the third show that I in the over a year I've been doing it that I would have kind of missed. And I was gonna post like a previous video appearance or whatever. I just couldn't do it. I just too much going on. So no, we just thought it'd be fun to impromptu and make this happen. So here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna play this clip. And
Who is this now?
now this will give us more to go off of. Tonight we're going to talk about. I have 11. Okay, it just keeps continuing to mute us. So, all right, I'm just going to have to keep watching that. So, yes, it will be Sundays. And you know what? We might keep this episode really short. And definitely, we could always do it if we need to.
Yeah, come back to the subject.
Yep. Okay, let's go to the clip. So, if you go on YouTube, there's this great channel. He is a therapist. I don't want to. You know what? I'm going to play the clip because that way I can mute myself and I'll look up his names because you definitely want to get the whole version of this. But it's 6 ways the toxic family shames you for changing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, you're going to love this. And I've got 2 clips, number 5 and number 6. Sarah, I feel like you are going to highly connect with these.
Okay.
And these stuck out to me too. Like I could think of, oh my gosh, 10 different situations. So here we go. So number 5, we're going to start with that. I'll just go right into 6. But number 5 it's called codependent agents. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Number 5 is what I call codependent agents, that they can't deal with the family rupture. Try not to think about this one as like flying monkeys, although that can be kind of similar. Codependent agents are family members who can't handle the conflict or split. So they try to bridge between the trauma survivor and the perpetrating family member. You might get some half validation or lip service from a codependent agent, but at the heart of it, they are using morality to get you to give in to the abusive side. And they can even maybe say that the parent or the family member is toxic and abusive, but they still ask you to be the better person. They might even try to invite you to like a barbecue, but not disclose that that family member is going to be there, the one you struggle with. So you have to ask, and then they try to get you to see, the codependent agent tries to get you to see their heroic efforts, or or say that the split in the family has now gone on too long. It's gone on long enough, and I need to get it together. Let's say there's a family emergency, and that you're in the middle of a cutoff with a family member or the whole family. A codependent agent, say like that aunt or step parent, might use that situation to point out that family is everything and you need to get over it. So the person who is like this can never really fully bring themselves to acknowledge the abuse or see that the family member is toxic. It is their codependency to focus on that runs this, because there is a part of them that knows the abuse was bad, but they sidestep it for being unable to accept that the family is really as messed up, or worse, they believe that, this is truly the worst, they believe that all the toxic person needs is love and acceptance and kindness, and then maybe a little change. See how that sounds? Does that sound familiar? So as a side note, some therapists out there can even have a similar message to you. We can almost see them as sort of a codependent agent. It's like that therapist might be codependent about your situation. And if you have a highly abusive parent, I've heard this a lot from clients, that I'm not saying every therapist does this, but there are therapists out there that is sort of like, maybe your father is just a wounded soul who needs more love. And that's so invalidating and such bad advice, I think, when it comes to childhood trauma stuff. So that being said, so with the family member, it's odd that they are actually making the situation about themselves because they are unable to handle that there is a schism. And in turn, that self-centeredness that a codependent agent has, or moral superiority, betrays your truth and shames you. They advise that you should give in because you know better than the toxic person. This one shames you by asking you to be above the abuse and choose connection with an abusive family member because the abusive family member can't help themselves. So be the better person and subject yourself to more abuse just because. And the codependent agent gets to say, there, I fixed it. So that's what I mean by this one.
Okay, I'm sorry. We're not going to play them back to back. That was a lot we should unpack. Okay, before we do the second one. Okay. Right away, Sarah, who came to your mind? Anybody come to your mind?
Oh my God, my dad, 100%.
Okay.
First of all,
talk about it.
And let me just be very clear. I love my dad. He is my rock, my foundation, and my only supportive family member, actually. But he definitely, one thing stuck out to me in this, and he referred to it as a moral superiority. And I don't think that's exactly my dad's intentions behind his want for the family to stay connected or make amends. I think the way he was raised in his generation, those are the values that he was instilled with. So I think there's a little bit of wiggle room for me to understand where he comes from with this, but definitely always like, okay, so I don't know how many times, he'll be like, are you going to come over this weekend? And then I'll be like, who else is coming over? Oh, well, maybe your brother or your sister. Yeah, no, I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, yes, this triggers up a whole bunch of just anger for me. Right away, I thought of my sister. Always tried to be that bridge, that tried to be the, let's make this work. And mostly anytime I would even try to engage on that, she would do that with my parents, me and the parents. I would only do it for her.
Yes.
For her. Had nothing to do with me wanting any relationship with my parents or any other family members. But what I like that he points out, while I'm yapping and reading my words, would you just make sure we don't get muted again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Where's the show? Right across.
Right, got the little... They probably already cut off a bunch of good things we've said. Okay. I like that he pointed out. Okay. Now, if you were listening to that, you're like, but this has nothing to do with recovery. Actually, it does, because I find that a large chunk, I would say 90% of meetings, treatment, and stuff, everything I've gone to, a lot of people that have shared those rooms with me, my addiction, substance use, this all stemmed from abuse, trauma,
family,
neglect. Yes, family issues, toxic situations, unhealthy, emotional relationships. So one thing I love that he's pointed out. So yeah, my sister definitely was the sidestep, would sidestep the abuse or trauma. And here's the worst part. And I'm not, I haven't shared anything of what happened, but what happened to me, I was open about it with her for our whole childhood. Okay. And I was able to live with that because I thought that it only happened to me. And I didn't want to ruin my family's life, telling the truth about it. When I would ask my sister, anything weird or anything happened to you? And she would never say anything. So when drinking one night, she came out and disclosed that it happened to her too. And I lost it. Like immediate blame, hated myself. I couldn't believe, if I would have said something, all the bargaining. I actually was so upset, Sarah, is that I punched a concrete wall, broke my hand. It's called boxers break. Oh, and dislocated. So this is very painful, but not as painful as finding out that monster did the same thing to her. Yeah, and I thought I was fucking protecting her. Okay, so but here's the worst part is she disclosed that to me, and she said I'd not tell anybody. So here's me, person who's drinking too much and using too much, and I became the scapegoat for all the problem family dynamics. It wasn't anything possibly going on with the family. It's Bridge and her issues. It's just mental health, and she's drug addict, drinker. Like she's the problem. So they were able to use. I think this happens with a lot of people in recoveries. We become the scapegoats.
Oh, 100%.
All the focus goes to us, but that's really because they're deterring from their own shit, right?
Well, yeah, they don't want to acknowledge what's going on in their own lives. And as soon as somebody else has something that comes out publicly, we'll say, then suddenly they can all point fingers and avoid anything reflecting back on them. So I know that happened, like my mother, my sister, all of those things. And it came with labels, and it came with judgment, and it came with shame. And I realized family does not mean, or blood does not mean family. That's when I learned that you make your family.
Well, that's what caught me to this video, is that he talks about it's when the family or extended family or anyone shames you for changing.
Yep.
Because now, for me, I'm in such just finally changing and starting to feel confident. And what I say, there's that step whatever where you powerlessness. Well, here's the thing: every single day I choose to be in recovery. I make the choice. I feel powerful. This is so ironic.
No, and it's really funny that you say that, because I know that I specifically have family members that will go about and start rumors. They love rumors. So now that I am getting better, and I'm not that scapegoat that they can use, and I am changing for the better, they make up their own things.
I was just gonna say,
she's reusing. She's on drugs now. She's she's got all these other issues. She needs psychiatric care for XYZ. It doesn't matter what it is. I can never do right. And that's why I don't need to be a part of their life. Because I know at the end of the day, I'm actually doing freaking awesome. In fact, the funny part is I just found my providers, so couldn't tell me where she was going.
Oh, yeah.
And she was just some for her payment.
Okay, note to self, I'm not doing this shit in the home anymore. I think there's video game stuff going on. Okay, but yes, good psychiatrists are hard to find. It's so funny you said that, because I did the exact same thing when I finally found a good one.
Yes.
I followed her ass.
Yes.
I had to creep Google search. Well, they're listed on whatever. I think they have to do that for their profession. Okay, anyway, Facebook user says no sound. Oh, yes, that's going to apparently keep happening. Thank you, Bridge. It's Martin. Oh, hey, Martin. Oh, I appreciate you. Go ahead, just keep flagging me, Martin. But anyways, let's get into the second clip. Again, that will help us mute this stupid microphone situation going on here. But also, wait till we get to this next one. Let's see. It is, and like I said, there's a full video. It's called 6 Ways the Toxic Family Shames You for Changing. Patrick Tehan, LICSW. Now, I don't know what those letters stand for, but I remember my DBT therapist, the one before her, was like, here's the letters you want, here's the letters you don't want. Because I've been working with professional folks from the very early age, and I noticed a trend. Some believe that you are a product of your environment, and some believe that basically all human beings based on your genetic DNA code and your whatever, you're going to just be this person. So I find that his little letters are my jam. Okay, clip number 2. Now this is great. Sarah, I'm sweating. I'm sweating in this room because I'm so stressed out here. Okay.
I'm so sorry.
So, this other one is have safe members who ignore. Here we go. Second clip.
Lastly, moving on, number 6 and the last one is have safe people that they ignore or they omit. This one actually might be the hardest. This is a family member you've been close with who now wants nothing to do with the situation in the family. This might be a sibling or an aunt or an uncle that might be half safe or somewhat close to you, but they exit out of the family conflict as soon as it comes up. This is different than, say, a codependent agent who puts a lot of effort in trying to get the band back together. But those who ignore and omit, that can really feel like a very big betrayal. For example, say there's an aunt or a cousin that you're close with in the family, and they've been someone that gets the toxicity in the family. But when you set boundaries or tell the truth or do a cutoff, they might ghost you for not wanting to get into it. I'm not saying that you've sought out a rescue from this person, but in the past, you felt like they were sort of safe to talk to, but now they've gone underground. And what I mean by half safe is that they're able to name the abuse as abuse, but it stops there. This family member can agree with you, but they won't advocate and support you, even if you've supported them. And I've had clients who felt like they would have had some family support somewhere in their family, but it disappears once they take steps to try to protect themselves or tell the truth or take action in some way. And why I think this is the hardest, because it sends a message, intentional or not, that you're not worth the effort or the drama, or worse, that you feel like you've now gotten lumped in with the whole toxic system and the person wants nothing to do with any of it. So in closing, at the heart of these things, if you're trying to change or heal or set boundaries or do a cutoff and tell the truth, you're going to struggle with shame that comes up when family members do these things. And this might be the most important part of the video right here, is that what all that feels like is an internal battle between the
Okay, so I like that he points out. So what happens is you have these safe people, okay, or half safe, because on one side, okay, I'll just talk about my situation because that way I could maybe more make sense. But on one end, I definitely had a lot of like cousins, or like everybody on my dad's side, they're all generation older than me, so they were all more like aunts or uncles, but they were like actually cousins. So my second cousin, anyway. I had them. They knew that I was telling the truth. They knew that actually it's a lot of the men in certain parts of the family are I call them angerholics, rageaholics. Okay. And so, but they would not have my back. Like, so, especially when it came to like finally owning my truth and being able to talk about it. When my dad died, that was a fucking shit show. Like, oh my goodness. And I had so many people that I didn't even know cared. Even his cousins that I liked, called me out and said, "You don't get to post nothing about your dad because you talked all this blah 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 about him." And at the end of the day, I'm like, where's this coming from? You don't even know me. All you're hearing is whatever you're hearing through the grapevine. But it's hard. It's more heartbreaking and shameful because it made me feel like I'm not worthy enough. My truth is, very invalidated. Like, it's more important to, stay neutral to like my mom or anybody else who's scared that this might get out, than to give me that, feeling of that I'm not just this fucked up person who makes up lies. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I didn't have enough time to really like think this through so I could sound more professional. But so anyway, I want to get to the positive. I want to get to some pro tips. But yes, anybody, if they have any other interactions, So Sarah, again, now you picked this topic, so I need you to talk more. But it's hard too because we're in a really awkward position. You can't move this microphone. But why did you want to talk about? So what's risky? Um, is there any other extended? So for me, when I think of in-laws, oh my gosh, the mother-in-laws never likes me from the get-go. Period.
They never do.
Nope. And I get that, especially when it's the oldest son or their only son. I get that.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to be mindful of that when my boys. I got 4 of them. I'm not gonna be like that. But just immediately hated me, even before I had like.
Yeah, right. Misintimidating.
Before I wasn't ever like that. Yeah, see, you don't know. You don't know Old Bridge. Old Bridge was quiet, people pleasing, and nothing like I am today. Now today I stand up for myself. Ooh, I like running into those folks now because I'm a different person. But yeah, so go ahead.
So yeah, actually, extended family for me definitely reaches out to the aunts, uncles, and cousins. I have a very large family. My dad grew up in a family of 9, and my mother grew
Wow.
up in a family of 6. So, of course, everybody has kids who has kids and etc. So every family function, there's over 100 people. And I grew up, like I mentioned earlier, about my dad being instilled with his values that family comes first. And so I was always, I tagged along with my dad since I was little. We were always the first one at every family function. We were the last one to leave. I would make it a point to go up and say hello and talk to every single person in the family, every aunt, every uncle, each cousin. And then, of course, do the Minnesota goodbyes, go around and say a personal goodbye to every single one. And after all this shit went down with my personal life and my immediate family, I don't give a fuck about my extended family anymore. Like,
Mhm.
and I knew a lot of them were big gossipers. Like, I have one
Oh,
aunt who
yes.
she thrives on the family drama.
Mhm.
And I don't care to. I think she would be that person that I think she would be a safe person to go to. I know that she would, at the end of the day, be there for me and support me. But then I don't trust her to be the one that I could go back to and know that she's going to have my back verbally and not gossip about me. Like, what is that saying that you used to tell me about? The ones that stand up for you when you're not there?
Mhm.
Yes. I don't know if she would be that one. And it's funny because I actually had a aunt who came into the family, and so she's not even technically related. She's not even married in. And you actually got to meet her. She is probably my one person, extended family member who is like, "Hey, I see what's going on. I'm proud of you for the changes you are making, and I'm not going to let anybody bully you or make you feel uncomfortable." So she's had family functions and she's reached out to me personally and made it a point for me to come and, try to accommodate those things. So I'm very appreciative of that. But for the rest of the family, meh, I'm just over it.
Yeah. Well, I guess now, just based on what you said, my mind goes into another spot too. So now that I have this family in recovery, right? I ain't fooling myself. I've been learning new, just whole new categories. And within the family in recovery, there's plenty of situations where I've had to set boundaries, where I've
Mhm.
had to say, hey, so, and yes, they're not, I know they're not what they say to my face. They ain't saying, behind my back. They're saying other things. And I think here's the worst people for me anyway. The worst people are the ones that try to be friends and loyal to everybody. So they're neutral, neutral to everybody. Well, like he was saying earlier, I had therapists like that. They want to give the benefit of the doubt to everybody fucking else.
Yeah.
And it's so invalidating and giving the excuses. And when I was in a situation where, we went our separate ways, it was clear to see who were my sisters in recovery and who wanted to also be there for him too. Cause, he's blah, 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 like, oh, I just think he needs the support now too. And I was thinking, okay, I just felt hurt because I'm like, just because I see, here's the thing. I didn't share all the horrible things that had happened. Okay. So still to this day, many people don't even know. And I don't need to disclose that because I don't need to defend myself. But it was bad enough that, a order of protection had to go in place. So you don't just get that for no reason. Like so I don't care what he was saying to them, to my girlfriends, that they went over to, cover him. He's going to make sure he says his part. But again, I literally read it to him a couple days ago, and I thought maybe after 2 years, especially I think
yeah.
I thought maybe after some good times, some like a year solid, I heard he added the program work. Just because you're in the program, it don't mean you're working the fucking program.
Yeah.
Okay? Just because you go to meetings,
You show face.
you maybe do a little steps here or there, it don't mean you're really working anything. Okay? And that was clearly like a slap in the face because I have done so much inner work, especially looking at my part in everything, especially looking at, and here's the thing where I was totally the victim. I was obviously a victim when I had to get the cops involved, but I never took that mentality on. So I spent a lot of time really looking at my part and working on myself. And so when he got up and spoke, because some things have been lifted, it really was sad. I really felt sorry for him because what he shared, clearly he's still the victim. And it's like I had my girlfriend Andrea next to me, and we just looked at each other like, oh, sad. But that's the thing is, we had a bunch of mutual friends. Well, now, mind you, he didn't know a lot of those people before me. He didn't even know a lot of those places we used to, he's still going to or whatever before me. So that's also like a bite, slap in the face. But again, a lot of people didn't really know me anyway. And a lot of people thrive on the fucking chaos and the drama. Those family gossipers, whether it's your blood family or family in recovery. And at the end of the day, those are the folks that I think I try to love more, or I try to support more, or I know that they need the program more, but I go be the one. I'm not giving them excuses, so I have clear boundaries.
Yes.
They're not the ones that I'm gonna like drop everything for. But per se, you or Jessica or Andrea or Mahana, I could list 20 people, John, Matt, that have had my back, and they know both of us a little this or that or whatever. But I know they got my back. Like, I will drop everything and go to them, in the heartbeat. And I know they would do that for me too. But the ones that, they're still friends and they're making excuses for that person, it's sad because I don't get how people don't have common sense to know there's two sides to every story. And when you make a judgment, especially against me, I feel like, based on one side, how unfair. Anyway, sorry, that was a ramble.
Yeah, you kind of got off the topic there a little bit, but it actually made me remember. Now, okay, was it you that I had this conversation with about there's two stories, or there's two perspectives to every situation, and it talked about sending one person way over on the other side of this tree, and this other person stood hundreds of feet back on the other side of the tree, and they're like, what do you see? And the person's like, I see a dead tree with whatever, blah blah blah, and the other person's like, I see a tree with one branch sticking out and some blossoms, but the other person who's on the other side can't see that because they're blocked by that image or view. So it definitely, I thought it was a great analogy to have that different perspective of looking at that everybody goes through their own way of looking at things.
Well, and what I loved about that story is that they're both right.
Yes.
Their perspectives are both accurate and truthful to them.
To them.
Yep. Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, I feel like the folks that, made that effort. And here's the thing, I guess for me, extended family, like at the end of the day, I don't really have never really had that like family feeling. I was opposite, okay? And even again, because my situation was so not healthy, I've never really vibed or understood the concept of like family. Like family gatherings and labels and names, like none of those things ever. So for me, family functions I've never felt obligated to go to. In fact, a lot of people, I'm hesitant to share my story a lot of times of experience, strength, and hope. Why? And now I've really shortened the experience part because I feel like because my childhood or the beginning of my story was so bad that it kind of pushes me like people can't really connect as easily. And I feel like I feel more sorry for you people that have the real families, the blood families, because it's a whole different leaf of them on now. But I feel more thankful and grateful that I don't have those impeding feelings of like family should stick together. We've always
Obligations.
been there for you. Yeah, I don't have none of that. Now, I think that's why I'm codependent with my children, Sarah.
Yes.
Because the codependency is real. Like last weekend. Big trauma happened. And because just it started with my two little ones going away from me. And I used to think that it was all based on my hangovers from, substance use. I had a trauma hangover Saturday morning. You had to come in and save me. Like I wouldn't get out of bed. And I'm excited to talk to my therapist about this tomorrow. But in 3 years of recovery, and all the healing work, and I think I am. I'm really getting into great deep stuff. But to be in bed, going into such a dark place so quickly, it made me realize that that inner child is still crying, and especially when my babies go away, even though I'm the one who helped plan it, and I know they were having a good time. It's like I don't feel needed. I think it throws me right back into not feeling loved and needed and wanted and pointless life. Just kidding. Anyway, okay, so um, let's get into the pro tips. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, now again, I didn't write anything down, but this guy's YouTube, I'm gonna post there's a website that lists these 11 bold ways. Um, and then what's great is if you go to this guy's YouTube, just this video alone, he gives you journal prompts. Oh my gosh, we're gonna tap into this. Are you ready?
Yes, I love that. Actually, can I throw a tip in there of my own personal
Yes.
use? So, as I mentioned, big family growing up, big obligations to attend all these things and support and be there and be present. I have learned over the years, short and sweet. Show up, say hi, keep it minimal. Say hi to those that you run into. Don't go out of your way to reach out to others. And even if you're having a good time and things are going well, if you were going to leave after 1 hour, leave.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stick around until somebody starts saying something inappropriate or somebody starts getting sloshed or whatever. Something that turns the experience bad. Get out of there beforehand. End it on a high note.
Mm-hmm. Keep it short and sweet. I love that. That's beautiful. And look at like my son's graduation. Okay, this was something that I wanted to go to. Well, I'm the one who hosted it, but all that extended family, okay, quote unquote family. Oh, plus I had some new family, actual blood family members attend. Anyway, I knew it was going to be a circus, but I wanted to be there for my son. And you're right, short and sweet. Here's what's so funny. So we did all the things. We ate, it was, the cake. I said some words, and I packed my shit, and I left. And I told the kids they could all stay there. Guess what? They all tagged along with me. And I got some comments from the ex-in-laws that were like, "Yeah, you guys just all up and left." And I was like, "Well, I was done. I told them they could stay." But and here's the best part: is I had no guilt, none. But that's taking a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I love that pro tip.
All right,
Okay.
what do you got?
Okay, so again, pro tip number 2, I would say would be doing journaling. Okay. And especially on stuff like this that's really deep, I feel like it is important to work with a professional, but just to get a prompt. Okay. So again, start journaling, but get some simple prompts to get you going. I'm going to give you some examples. So writing prompts, journaling, here we go. Okay, Sarah, we're going to try a couple of these. You ready?
Okay.
Ooh, this is good. So he says how to work on it. Number 1. So here's a journal prompt. What got you here with your family? Was there a wedding disaster? How had they crossed huge boundaries with a partner, you or your children? Was there a refusal to acknowledge abuse? Or was there a time when you were in the hospital and they made you take the cab home? that your mother turned it all around on you, where your sister owes you money and refuses to pay you. So looking at it, he gives you just examples, but the prompt is about how we lose our way with reality when family shames. So write down situations that had got you to this present like moment, where it's still like he was saying how your inner child, you can recognize that when you feel immediate shame showing up with these things or even getting asked. I think there's an event coming up. You just feel it was like already feel icky about it.
Yep.
So writing down situations that got you to this point and keep it handy when you are shamed or when shame comes up. Because what's great is he will talk about how when your inner adult comes in, your inner adult's able to set boundaries. My inner adult's able to be confident in my fucking truth, and I will stand by it and I will not make excuses for it. And you're right, like you were talking about. Their perspective is gonna be their perspective. And
Yep.
if they're a loving, caring, supportive person that really wants to be in my life, they're gonna want to have a conversation about it, right? And I notice when I need to set well, he even talks about cutoffs, okay, cutting fucking people off.
Yep.
Is when I feel like I gotta defend. I gotta
Yep.
defend myself or justify shit. As soon as I feel like those thoughts are coming to my head, I'm like, whoop, nope, gonna take a pause, gonna take a space.
I like that, actually. I think I'm gonna remember that, jot it down, and take it with me to run. As soon as I feel myself getting defensive or like I need to make an excuse for myself or justify something, I need to leave that situation and that relationship because clearly something's not working. And if I can't be my true authentic self, I don't need to be. That's a waste of my energy and my time.
Yes. And it's like physically stressful for my body. Okay. And then the second prompt, I'm just gonna read this really quick and then I don't remember. We started at 9:45, so we're gonna wrap it up on time. Oh, I got great memes.
Good.
The second journal prompt, I think this is important, and then we'll get to the last pro tip, but is to walk yourself through what it would look like for you to give in. Okay. So to actually go to family functions or go start back relationship with that in-law or extended family or whoever, even if you never even if you never would at this point, what would actually happen to you emotionally to cave in and go to family gatherings that protects that the perpetrator or that person who refuses to acknowledge? Would you be back in your family role as the scapegoat? Would you right away go back to that? What do you gain by putting yourself in such an unsafe place again? Are you just trading the awful guilt and shame back to the feeling of not being seen and being back to where you started? Do you again lose yourself or yourself, let's see, short in the hypothetical? So he's saying your inner children or inner child have built in just forgetting and wanting a family, but your adult your inner adult, your inner adult knows how that will go. So sitting down and processing that. And here's what's beautiful. There are so many things that I could go to. Even in the recovery world, okay? Sadly, I don't really, I just don't have this family thing. But there's so many like events, activities, meetings, whatever that I could go to. But I sit down and pause and think about, okay, why? What's my intention of really going? Or why was I invited here? Um, will it be, is there a good reason? And if it's not, if it's like he's saying, just because I want to feel connected with my recovery family or extended, whatever. Because he points out too that we are easy to forget things. We are easy to forgive, much easier than people. We are so much likely to do that, which is ironic because they're not. I think that those people are the ones that, for me, the people that point out my past shit over and over and over again, even if they're quote unquote kidding, which is bullshit. Well, I say any kiddings are half kiddings, is immediately because they want to bring me down a peg.
Yep.
They want to, and it used to work. So it immediately would make me feel shut down. Okay. Ex-girlfriend. This is an ex-girlfriend co-parenting session. That was her go-to. I pointed it out. I finally learned through DBT and my therapist, hey, I don't want to talk about anything in the past. I don't want to hear what was said. I don't want to be reminded of that situation. A lot of times stuff I didn't even remember or I was felt very shameful. Again, and I reminded her once, I reminded her twice, but that is like her therapy is talking shit. I feel like whatever. And so by the third time that she had did it, I put my fucking hand up. I didn't slap her, but I put it right up and I said, I asked you not to do that. So I'm walking away. And I remember just getting this adrenaline rush because I'm not a confrontational person. But by standing up for myself and leaving the fucking room, and it was actually really cool because she then came back, like gave me a minute, came out and said, I'm so sorry. I didn't even catch myself doing that, which I half believe. I half believe. I mean, that's a go-to. But it felt empowering to do that. And then for those people that you go to those things that they can't not do it. You show up, you're the topic. You're on the table. We got to talk about all the fucking shenanigans. But that's because they want to put that attention on you. They don't want to talk about their shit. Okay. Anything else you want to say before I get to the last pro tip?
No, not that I can think of. But
Okay.
I'm excited to hear what the last pro tip is.
Okay, last pro tip is go to, this is a great website, thecoachtouch.com. Ooh, that kind of sounds dirty. Thecoachtouch.com, okay? Go to this website because they have a great article and they list 11 bold but loving ways to deal with in-laws who hate you. Okay, I'm not going to go into all of them. I'm just going to read the list, but it says how a sour relationship with extended family dampers the overall peace and atmosphere of the house and family members. It is true that life takes a sudden change after any event or situation. A negative change, however, becomes a nightmare for most people. So let's talk about, third time bridge went to treatment, lost the kids. The kids all started go to an ambulance. She almost died. Yeah, that's something. That's something. So that would be a negative change that uprooted, not only my life, but my babies, So, but it became a nightmare. And in spite of how we try, how hard to put on our best and pleasing our best face, and no matter how well I've done, there's a couple of those extended family folks that will always see me in the same light. My own adopted mom still sees me as the thief who stole the SpaghettiOs. The one time when I was like 18 years old, she still labels me as the thief. It's funny.
Although, if you really think about it, it says a lot about her if she's calling you a thief for stealing a can of SpaghettiOs.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we'll just leave it there. But, I was also just thinking too, as you were talking about this, and it's something that it makes me cringe. And I think this is why I get such anxiety about the thought of going to a family function, is because of all of the stigma and drama and all this shit that's gone down. For example, I have a graduation coming up and I would probably not go. However, this is my favorite niece and I was there when she was born, so I would like to be there to, congratulate her, and just be there for her. But the whole time I know that I'm going to be walking in there with this conscious thought of, instead of relaxing and being like, okay, I can avoid these certain people for my personal boundary's sake, that's fine, and I can get along with these other people. It doesn't matter, because the entire time I'm going to be watching over my shoulder like, okay, did somebody just see me trip over that stick? Did they think I'm drunk now? Now that everybody's going to start rumors and spread all, like, oh my God, that's exhausting. I'm tired at the end of the day, and then I'm mad and I'm crabby because I can't just be me, because now I've been labeled as this person in the family.
And I do notice you have motions going on right now. Yeah. Tears. The listeners can't see that, but I see it. Where do you think the sadness or the tears, like as soon as you talked about your niece and how you saw her be born, and I mean, that's touching right now, just Sarah, that you want to be there for her and that you're willing to go through whatever scenario is going to go down. But I want to ask you, like, where do you think What's the tears from? Is it hurt? Is it pain?
I would have to say disappointment. I think it's also definitely hurt because I haven't been able to be there with her for. I mean, I haven't talked to her in over 2 years now because of all the stuff that's going on. So I have no idea what's going on in her life. And this isn't the first time her mother and I have gone our separate ways, and unfortunately, that's the outcome is that we have to get separated. So I don't know. I have no idea what her perspective is. I don't know if we'll ever have a relationship. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. See, but you're genuine, Sarah. And here's the reality. The fact that you're going to go speaks volumes. And I'm hoping that, okay, so my ass is going with you, by the way. And we could get some perspective before we go in there. Because I think a big part of, yeah, little P minds might be worried about looking at what you're doing, but honestly, who cares? Because you know where you're at, you know? And that's, I think, for me, where I have the courage is. And I'm just clumsy ass anyway, you know? And my anxiety used to be so bad. I'd be slurring.
Yeah.
I'd be shaking. I still get shaky.
I do too.
But I know that I'm 3 years in recovery. I know I'm solid. And so I think let them think whatever because that's the kind of person they are. But here's what I'm thinking, Sarah's your niece, no matter how she reacts, you know, like look at my daughter, she act crazy, but she says she acts like she hates me, but I know that she doesn't. I know it's because she genuinely loves me. But she, no matter if there's no words at all, the fact that you make your presence there will mean volumes, especially later in life, especially if she starts going through life. But I guarantee in that moment, and I know there's many times I maybe didn't invite certain people or whatever, but I hoped that they would come. And just them being there made me feel, you know, that little bit of love. And yes, I think it's important to, you know, pick those moments. And I'm proud of you for taking that step to be like, okay, I'm gonna come. But to have some, you know, support right with you. And again, to try to pre-process, you know, how that scenario go. And you have every right to walk in, see her, let her see you, however you guys want to interact, and walk away with your head held high. Just let me tell you.
Short and sweet.
Yes. And it's like I've finally grown. Like I said, it's been a very long time, but there's certain places and people and things that I want to walk in there and just with my head held high, because they can think whatever they want to think. But I finally love myself and I'm confident in myself. And I want to just, you know, for me, it's almost like a, what do you call it? It's like a, you know, when you're the, you know, you always want the losers to win. What is it?
Oh, the like rooting for the underdogs.
Yeah, the underdogs. So for me, I walk into a room like underdogs. That's what's up. Yeah, and I get, you know, I feel like I've actually gotten comments or stuff later on that was like, yeah, I saw you and you didn't even see me, but man, you looked good. I could tell that you're really doing well. And I'm like, oh, thank you. And my mom like, oh yeah, I saw you the minute I walked in, but I didn't need to look at anybody and get any kind of, you know, any kind of like, I just don't do I'm sorry's anymore.
Fake validation.
Fake, yep. I just can't do the fake anymore.
Yes.
You know, because I worked so hard to make these amends with myself and with living it out that I don't owe anybody any more apologies, you know, from the past. You know, I still make mistakes. Definitely.
Oh, yeah, that's different.
But I try to catch myself, you know.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, what do we got for memes?
Okay. And just to give out some of the 11 bold ways to deal with in-laws who hate you. So number 1, my favorite, be you. Number 2, maintain balance. Number 3, bond with your partner or best friend or, you know, whoever those like key people you have connections with. 4, keep a safe distance. 100%. Don't get caught up in that gossip circle. There's many times that I'm just like, oh, we're talking shit about somebody. Okay, I'm gonna go over here and eat some coffee. Number 5, don't impose yourself. Interesting. Number 6, be assertive. Number 7, stop trying to please them.
Yes.
Number 8, act like they are not your life. Number 9, discharge your duty. I don't know what that means. That could mean, again, go to the website.
Like your sense of duty, like the obligation factor, maybe.
Yes, okay, as the sister or as the daughter or as
Yes, I like that.
Number 10, be grateful. And number 11, draw help from your higher power or above, or it's a power greater than yourself. Okay, meme time.
Yes.
Here we go. I am too tired. My back is hurting from crouching like
I know,
this.
you look so
I fuck the
uncomfortable.
sound effects. We are gonna just get right
Yes.
into it. Here's a sound effect. Because it is hot in this little fucking room.
I know.
Okay.
What we get for taking the AC off.
Yeah, but the AC fan's too loud. Okay. All right, taking off the banner. And we're going to go right into... oh, man. I am so out of my element right now. And I'm at home, Sarah.
I know, that's the funniest part.
I feel... Okay, taking that off. First meme. I know I've shared this one before, but it's one of my favorites. I wanted to kick it off with like the funniest meme ever.
Okay. Dude crying in the shower when the shampoo says repairs damage, but you're still broken on the inside.
Sorry. It's just hilarious to me. You know, crying in the shower. And you get that shampoo. It's,
Yep.
I'm still messed up.
Ain't repairing nothing.
Oh, just words.
Okay. Me making a phone call. God, I hope they don't answer.
Do you do that?
This is me all day. Every time I make a phone call.
Every single time.
Or I'll be like, oh yeah, we should get together. Please say no. Or tell me that you're busy.
Every single time. I don't know why. Here's the thing. I love to be able to just leave a voicemail. So they know that I made the full attempt.
Yep.
Because there's just some things you can't text. But even the people that I really do quick want to say, it's never quick. They always keep me on the phone. I hate it.
Seriously.
Okay, that's me. Oh, this is a nice one.
Love yourself instead of loving the idea of other people loving you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Easier said than done.
Very much so. Don't let people guilt you for not visiting them. They're not visiting you either.
Boom.
I remind myself this, actually.
Mic drop.
I don't say anything, but I think about this a lot with a lot of my friends. Or I shouldn't say friends as in like who I currently spend time with, but past friends that were... I've got one close girlfriend from my using days and out of high school and stuff that she's the only one that continuously will make the effort to reach out and call me randomly and vice versa. And actually, I feel bad because I've totally dropped the ball on reaching out to her, but she always maintains that connection. But then with other people, if I don't hear from them, I'll be like, oh, I should call them. And I'm like, you know what?
They haven't called me neither.
Yep.
And see, here's the funny part. I never had that problem, Sarah. I never had no friends. And so I used to it was funny. I have this OCD thing where I like to just clear out messages. It helps my mind to not see any lingering messages, whether it's on Facebook or text messages, right? The only ones I leave in my whatever history is ones that I got to respond to, like whether it's I just need more time to respond. Think about it, or they specifically asked a question, or I got to remember to do something.
Yep.
Well, Sarah, I can never ever keep my history clear. I always like right now I'm trying to just sit down and keep it simple. Okay, so I'm trying to get the return messages, whatever it is, as simple as possible. And I always want to do more. I always want to say, oh, but you could do this, or we could do that. Yep. And I've found myself, especially in the last couple of days, because I got overwhelmed recently.
Yep.
Is I go delete. Nope. Short and simple. If they want to respond, and part of me is like, I hope they don't respond because then I got to respond again. You know? I just like seeing people now is so much easier
Yes.
than the digital interactions. Ugh.
Oh,
Okay.
I know.
Oh, this is gonna be controversial.
Okay.
You're the best person on this meme.
All right.
It's a
So,
magazine.
yep, magazine cover.
Karen's on the cover.
Yep. Uptight Bible moms.
Weekly.
Weekly. Sewing your own summer wear, floral sleeves for swimsuits, less skin, less sin. Fun Christian rock karaoke to force on your Jewish neighbors. Beautiful. Ignoring science for beginners. Oh, I feel like that's a
These are articles in this uptight Bible moms. I love
yes. Quilting for Jesus. Is TV these days 100% satanic? Yes. Have you recently made eye contact with a gay? How to pray away the guilt. Oh, that's terrible.
And this is dark humor, you know.
Oh, I love it. Connecting with your teen
This month,
connecting with your teen through scripture rap, a hip hoppin' how to guide for mom and dad.
It's just wonderful. You gotta poke. You gotta poke a little bit. And yeah, okay. Just leave it there. I will leave it there because I'll get myself in trouble. All right. Describe this one. It's so fantastic before you read it. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yep, 3 dudes lounged out in front of a TV on the floor.
Look like dads.
Yes, totally look like dads. And they each have their own pizza box, an entire pizza to themselves, whipped open, ready to like mow down and start binge watching something. And it just says, "When I say I need to party, this is what I mean."
Yes! Doesn't that look great?
Yes, it does.
That is like my kind of party. Yes. And to have your own personal pizza, because I love all specific topics a lot of people don't like, you know.
Yep.
Ooh, and just all to yourself and just binge watch whatever movie or show. Oh, seriously, I want to do that, Sarah.
I know, all snuggled up and comfy.
Yep, we got our own spots and our snack. I call it a snack circle. And my own personal pizza. It sounds like heaven.
Yes, agreed.
Okay. This is yours.
Yes. Okay, sorry. I love this one. So there's 3 pictures. The first one is this very cute little baby shepherd puppy. It says 0 to 4 months. The next picture I'll describe later. It's 4 to 24 months. And then the third picture is 24 plus months. And it's an adult German shepherd, relaxed, just chilling there. And it says, "For all of you out there who adopted a puppy recently, it is important to realize that there are 3 phases of canine development as depicted below. Now that 4 to 24 months photo is a velociraptor."
Yes.
And it is the most accurate thing I've seen in a very long time.
Yes, that velociraptor was trying to make an appearance on our show tonight. It was a crazy laugh. She's so naughty, but here recently, you know, it's all that puppy teenager years.
Yes.
But honestly, she is a really great dog. She is. Like, she's my 5-year-old now. That's her best buddy. But she's been naughty and she's sneaky and she's smart. Oh, she's totally like a toddler.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Velocitoddler.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Words.
Okay. You got to be mature enough to understand that you have some toxic traits too. It's not always the other person. I love this because I used to get so mad, and then I would actually beat myself up about certain things that I would do. I never had a balance for understanding how to take ownership versus just shaming and blaming myself. Does that make sense? Like, this program gave me the ability to take those things without to correct those things and acknowledge them without really, like, I beat the crap out of myself over them.
That is so beautiful that you took it there. Because yes, 100%. I used to always shame and blame myself. It didn't matter what the other person did. At the end of the day, it was always my fault. And I would go, especially with ex relationships with males, to baby daddies, right? It was easy for me to always have their side. You know, I could see their side forgive them. Oh, but they only responded that way, or they only did these things because I did this, right?
Yep.
And you're right. For me, recovery, this program, different programs, has given me the opportunity to, well, it still is a go-to right away see my part, but to stop, pause, and stop myself, catch myself, and say, wait a second, though. This person also did this. Okay, let's just give a really easy, simple example because I'm human and I just did that shit on Saturday night. So your companion is very, very, probably one of the nicest people I know, right? But he is a normie, okay? Dan, shout out. He's actually one of my favorite people, but I don't like normies typically. I don't even hang out with them. Why? Because I still feel protective of,
Defensive.
yeah, I feel like I need to. Here's the thing. It's like, it's not even me trying to defend myself. I feel like because I know so many people struggling, because I have so many people, women that I'm working with that are very sensitive. In a weird way, I feel like I gotta, recovery out loud and break the stigma. Well, I didn't need to do that, poor Dan. I did. Just cracked a simple joke, which amongst people in recovery, we'd all be cracking up laughing. I was also not in a good place. I'm not trying to make excuses. I was having a bad weekend. But he simply made a little kind of joke. And I snapped on him and I said, oh, so you have to correlate those two things. Why? Because there's people here in recovery, alcoholics. So immediately that's your go to. And in the moment, I felt valid. Like, that's right. I'm sticking up for, you don't get to say nothing. It's like when you have that asshole brother that hits you all the time and he's such an asshole and you get to say that. But Susie
Nobody's
or
allowed.
Jane, they cannot talk shit about your asshole brother. Only you get to.
Yeah.
So, but then I realized, so here's the thing. When I finally got home and I really got to just like decompress from the whole explosion of that weekend, amongst other things, Dan was on my mind. And that whole moment of, I was such an asshole. and luckily nobody called me out on it. Otherwise I probably would have got defensive. And here's where my mind went back and forth. Part of me was like, well, that was, that's a typical Derby move. They're gonna see the ironic situation or whatever. But I'm like, again, that's a typical Derby move. Like, how insensitive, blah blah blah. But then I'm like, he was hanging around me, you and Mahana. It's okay for him to joke. Like, back off. And so then I went into the whole, okay, where's my part in this? And really digging into why I did this. And really, it took me all of 2 seconds to be like, Dad, this is a very kind person. I know he goes above and beyond, especially for you. And so here's the thing: is like, I didn't want to right away apologize. Oh, I still haven't, by the way. I'm just doing that on air now because I didn't want to be like, ooh, I didn't want it to seem ingenuine.
Yes.
Because I wanted to. For me, I don't force amends, okay? Because this qualifies as an amends.
Yes.
I don't force that shit. I want it to feel like genuine. And I gotta feel genuine about it, okay? So, like, we were literally just out there, but we're blabbing off the vehicles and the mosquitoes are biting. I'm like, this is not a good moment to be like, oh, by the way, I'm sorry for being an asshole. And he'd probably be like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
No, he wouldn't.
So I'm like waiting for like a relevant moment. But again, I think the key for me for amends to be real,
It's gotta come naturally.
authentic, it's got to be authentic to me first.
Yes.
Okay, and I gotta connect with it. So, but if he listens to the show, if he maybe can hear us outside there, Dad, I'm sorry.
You know what's funny?
I really
bet
mean
he's
it.
freaking out right.
Oh, good. Actually, I really hope I didn't want it to come out like now. So good. At least he probably won't go listen to the replay, but it'll work itself out. But again, it's a small thing. But here's what I love about myself. Like I say, it's in recovery. It has me on this whole new depth of life where I care that much.
Yeah.
I care about the people I choose to have in my life. These are people that I care about.
Yeah.
And I want to be. And on the flip side, I was also able to cut off, set those boundaries, and take, well, a lot of people I don't care if I ever see again. but they were never healthy for me. They never wanted to celebrate me, and they just wanted to break me down. Well, go be down in your little hole by yourself, because
Yes.
I'm happy to be where I'm at right now.
Yes.
Okay,
How many means we
2
got left?
more.
Okay.
This one's great. I know you love thrifting. And
Yes, I
see
do.
me.
Oh my god, yes, Will Ferrell in this weird, ugly sweater. Me thinking I'm cute in my Goodwill find.
How many times?
Oh my god, that is me. It's you and I both do this.
100%. Okay, because that's what I like about thrifting is the shit's unique.
Yes.
There's not 3 colors and 2 different sizes. Like it's the one thing, and I love it for whatever reason. I walk around. You know who the first person to give me shit is? My daughter. But I just shrug that aside. But then when I get a few looks or comments, I'm like, oh, why doesn't anybody else love this? Oh, I look like a hag.
Although you know what I like, because you and I have the same appreciation for most things.
Yeah.
Like you and I find like, oh, this is so cute.
It's so unique. It's so
Yes.
way. So I like it. Last one.
All right. Hurt people hurt others, but luckily healed people heal others. Safe people shelter others, free spirits free others, enlightened people illuminate others, and love always wins. So shine your light of love on all who may cross your path in life, because what you do matters. I like that a lot.
Isn't that beautiful?
It is.
I love this so much. I've heard hurt people hurt people.
Yes, but
Okay.
I didn't hear the rest.
And I give that grace. And actually, thanks to Pameth, right? I heard healed people heal people. Again, love that. But then it goes on to like safe people shelter others, and enlighten people, illuminate. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just keeping that energy, the vibrations of this, positive, just where I'm on right now. And I'm
Yes.
not always there. I can still go into dark places, but thankfully, I have those people that I
You
have
have that
those relationships.
And you have that recognition to take it to the light.
Yes. And as soon as I showed up, finally got my ass to go for state. I feel bad now. Not really, but I made it awkward. Every person that I knew came up to me, gave a hug. How you doing today? Well, not so good. I slept until dude, I actually wasn't even gonna come because blah blah blah. But it's okay, because like before I'd give you my fake smile and say I'm fine. Fine. We all know what that means. But no, now I just let you know, like, I'm here. And I'm glad I'm here. I'm so glad I ran into you, and thank you for that hug,
Mm-hmm.
I need some of your light right now.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
A little
Final thoughts.
Yes, a little give and take. No final thoughts. Let's wrap this up. I'm gonna be giggling about this episode forever. Also, I'm gonna be on. I don't know if anybody else caught that about halfway through the episode. Your little wheeze from your asthma, and I instantly thought of the Toy Story. Do you remember? Was it Wheezy, Weezer?
Yes.
Yes. I'm gonna find a sticker to give you.
Oh my God, this whole air pollution stuff is terrible. I know it ain't easy, being wheezy. I still want that. I want that sticker of the inhaler. Oh my gosh. Okay, I've been winded, but it feels great that we did this, and I do listen to every episode at least once, and I'm cringy about how many times we cut in and out, but I think it gives a character. It's a little out of the element, but I love it.
Tell me about it.
It's memory. It goes in our BFF box.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and hopefully it cools off soon. I was 90 degrees today.
Oh, yeah, 93 on my way home.
But quick, let's go kick that AC back on. I'm dying. I love you guys. Have a good night, and I will check it. I promise Sunday. Okay. And I need the music. Gotta end it right. Can't be completely. It says returning home. I'm going to my bed, Sarah. I'm going to my bedroom.